yourself. Plug. www.inthemixradio.com.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Saturday, and I know for many of us that's the best day ever. After a long day of work, we get to relax and just be ourselves. So on that note, once again, good afternoon. I hope everyone is well, and welcome to the Nina Monique Show. So I'm not feeling well today. I got a headache, but I'm going to push through this show because it is July and I am celebrating the accomplishments of men of color and the things that they do to help people in their communities, whether they're famous or not famous, or, I just want to celebrate them. I think we celebrate women all the time. Why not extend that and celebrate men also? Hello, everyone on Instagram. How you doing? Thank you for joining. Hi. On that note, I'm going to start off saying that my shows for the month of July are dedicated to the men that we see constantly losing their lives on TV, whether it's police brutality or whether it's in our communities. I want to celebrate their life. I want to celebrate the changes through their death that they're bringing to this country and the awareness that they're bringing. Last show, I dedicated my show to Junior, the young man who was killed in the Bronx. I still think about that young man every day, and I can't imagine the fear that he went through during his last moments of living at 15 or 16 years old. So again, like I said before, I send my condolence out to his family, especially his mom. I personally don't have any children because I'm scared to bring them in this world right now. There's just too much going on, and I'm terrified to bring them in this world. But when I do decide to have kids, I want to tell them as much as possible. I have to, because I don't want them to be walking around in the dark and not knowing, who to trust, who not to trust. And it's just so much going on in this world. And I want them to be alert and aware of everything that's going on. Not that I'm trying to take away from their innocence, but I want them to know what's going on and how to handle the situation in case mommy or daddy is not around. And then on top of that, with media, with the things that they see through social media and TV, and especially now with the current administration that we have in office where they're normalizing racism. I want my kids to know about what's going on. I don't want them to be blindsided and hurt or depressed or upset and just angry at everyone for the lack of knowledge and respect that other people may have for other individuals walking around on this earth. So I definitely wanted to dedicate my show to people like Philando Costello. I think about him every day too, the young man who was killed in front of his girlfriend and his daughter in the car. We see these things every single day. It's sad to see, and through them, they're bringing awareness that many things haven't changed in this country, and we have to keep working at it as people to bring justice to people who are doing harm and walking away from situations that they have no business walking away from. So Philando, and then there's Alton Sterling, where we also saw the video of him being shot dead by police officers in Louisiana. I pray for his family also. I remember when a press conference came out for that show. Not for that show, for this incident. When a press conference came out for this incident, and his children, his son, I believe, was standing up there crying, and just the sound of his heart falling into pieces because of, I'm sure, of what he's seen on TV and social media of what happened to his father. It destroyed me. It broke my heart. And I always said, once I get my platform, I'm going to acknowledge men that go through this situation. Some who may not have media coverage, and some that do have the media coverage. I want to acknowledge your life, and I want to say I am sorry you had to experience that. And to their families, I don't. There's no words, especially when they have children. Because what are you supposed to tell your kids, that you're loved by everyone, or, you know, when people say racism don't exist, or, you know, incidents happen to certain individuals, and it's just too much. And I think for parents, even though it may be a conversation you don't want to have with your children, you have to make them aware of what's going on. Also, I wanted to put up pictures of a friend of mine who means a lot to me. Not that one yet. That's okay. His name is Lawrence Minor Jr. He's a very good friend of mine. He's the picture that I just sent to you in the email. He's a very good friend of mine. He always have my back, and I appreciate his life and what he do to bring awareness that you can accomplish anything you want in this world. He's a very good friend of mine, Lawrence Minor Jr. He actually just came back from Essence, the Essence Festival, and whenever something big come up, he texts me and he always tell me, oh my God, this happened to me. And, you know, I'm just happy for him. I'm happy to see a young black man like this young man right here doing his thing. And I applaud him for everything that he's doing. So Lawrence, congratulations to you for everything. And thank you for always having my back and being that ear to talk to. And I just appreciate you. So congrats again. And also, I have another person. His name is Dean. Come in. Don't be shy. This gentleman is the mentor of my friend Lawrence. And Dean, you covered my show the last time, and he is so professional. When he comes in, he's like, "Now, Nina, is this what you want? Is that what you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, I love this guy. He's so nice." So, so I appreciate.
I'm not worthy of such flatter.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And your baby girl, on the last show, we spoke about mentorship, and we spoke about fatherhood briefly. In your mind, how important is mentorship to you?
Well, the thing is,
I just put him on the spot too. I'm sorry,
did, but that's cool. That's cool. Because in order to cultivate the youth and set them on the right track, you got to set an example.
Right.
And you set your example by your life experiences, so you can show them the right way, because you know the right way and the wrong way by trial and error. So, and also if you see them having a passion for something, if you know something about that, or if you're a professional in that field, and you see they got a spark in it for that interest, what you do is you take them and guide them down the path and try to put them on the fast track to success. Like like when I saw Lawrence, and he always used to ask me questions. I saw him first. He had a little compact camera, right? But he was always shooting, and he'd ask me stuff, and then how do you do this? How do you do that? Or then he would ask me advice about, what camera should I get if I want to step up? And then he would ask me, how did I like this? Or he'd show me some pictures that he took, and I would give him a fundamental critique on it. If he did something great, I would say, man, that shot is tight. I mean, it's something that I'd be proud of. Or if it was something that could have been better, I'd say, maybe you need to crop in a little tighter, or, a little sharper. Or, some of the basic stuff like exposure, it's got to be, the exposure needs to be a little tighter, like whether it's a little underexposed or overexposed. But, you know, he's a quick study. And, you know, his passion for photography is like second to none. So he's like a guy that he is on the fast track quicker than anybody I know.
Right.
Like, I think he's been shooting professionally for 5 years, and he's already doing stuff that guys I know 20 years in have not done. Or they have done, but it's taken them a lot longer. So, like, you know, Lawrence, he's got jokes. You know,
Yeah,
like he
that's
calls me
Lawrence.
Mr. Miyagi and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But that's a compliment, so I'm very flattered, and you know, I'm proud and happy that he thinks of me in such a way. But you know, this guy, he's shooting for the stars, and he's shooting the stars.
Right, right.
So I'm
right.
exceptionally proud of him. I
Right.
mean, you know, I remember when that guy was born.
Oh, you go way back like that?
I remember before Lawrence existed on the planet Earth.
Wow.
Yeah, and because his brother and his sister, they're like the older than me. So when I first moved into the neighborhood, which was a long time ago, they were like the big kids to me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like his brother Mike, you know, I looked up to him. His sister Michelle, they were the big kids to me. So, but there was, you know, we're closer in age than I am with Lawrence. You
Okay.
know? So, you know, I remember that guy from basically day one. You know, so
Oh.
yeah, and he you know, he used to hang out. I mean, he still does with one of my cousins, who's also a photographer. And I just passed on the things that I knew from one of my mentors, which is my uncle. His name is Cecil. And there's this other brother that I knew that taught me, like my uncle Cecil, he was my foundation teacher, right? So he took me from a snap shooter to a advanced amateur,
Right. Oh.
meaning I knew what I was doing. And then, you know, years later, I ran into a brother named Mustafa at Queens Plaza in, was it Long Island City, Queens? And I saw him. He was set up at a table, you know, selling, you know, stuff, oils, incense. But he was a very knowledgeable guy. He was a former Marine. Yeah, he shot supermodels, like the first black supermodel, Beverly Johnson.
Oh,
photographed
Beverly
her.
Johnson, yes.
Yeah.
Beverly Johnson.
So he took me from advanced amateur to a professional shooter. I learned how to see the light, read the light. I learned how to compose shots. I learned how to shoot editorial style. I learned how to deal with models to a professional degree, meaning entry level. But Mustafa's the one that taught me how to shoot like a pro. Like he is my, like I have two mentors. My uncle Cecil, who taught me the basics, then Mustafa, who taught me the next level. Like, and once I assisted Mustafa for a few years. Then I went out on my own. And, you know, I got a job in the photo industry behind the scenes, you know, back in the days when you processed film and
Oh,
slides.
yeah, like Kodak or...
Yeah, like, you know, I was a guy, you go to the lab and you drop off your film.
Yeah.
And I'd process it, whether it be slides or black and white or sometimes color, you know, do enlargements and stuff like that in the largest commercial professional lab in New York City, which is known as Clicks. Clicks 1 Hour Photo on 23rd Street and Lexington Avenue. They're no longer in business, but at the time when I was there, they were the biggest commercial lab. And then there was another lab, which was like the king of the hill, which they were the pro lab, that Dugal, which still exists now. And there's others. But yeah, I mean, the same way I showed Lawrence, people showed me. And then there's another guy, I must say, I met him early in my professional career. His name is Brad Starks. He's one of my best friends. And he is a guy that showed me how to shoot. He showed me how to shoot clothes, like editorial stuff.
Okay.
How to light
Right.
models properly when they're, for like a clothing line and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's how I met you first when I did that photo shoot at my house and Lawrence brought you.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so he showed me how to deal with people in the industry, the makeup artists, stylists and stuff like that. Because I used to, like I was like a weekend warrior. I had a full-time job and I was shooting on the weekends, getting my little, side money in. But, when I met Brad, he would ask me to help him out on shoots, and as I was helping him, I was learning the business.
Right.
Like.
And that's very important, learning the business.
That's the most important thing, because in the business, you got guys that are not that great, but they are making the dough. They raking in the dough. They really are. And then you got dudes that are exceptionally skillful, but they have not mastered the art of getting the money.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it's like a balance, and it's very hard for a lot of guys. Like when you're a creative, sometimes there's a conflict in the creative person's mind where they want to make things look pretty and they want to be technically accurate and, makes happy stuff. But they can't focus properly on getting the money.
Right.
That's why a lot of them have reps, or they have, their wife or significant other deal with the money aspect. That's kind of me, what I mean? It's kind of like me. Like, I've always, because you know what it is? It's sometimes, you know what you're worth, but you have a problem asking for it,
Yep. So the person that you have helping you is not the one that's afraid. It's like you have your strong points, and then the person that's helping you have their strong points. So whatever area,
It's like if you have a good yin and yang kind of thing. Because like some people, like I've been a photographer half my life, right? But like when I went to college, my area of study was graphic design. So that's what my bachelor's degree is in. Although I've been a photographer a lot longer, and I would say I'm a better photographer than a graphic designer. I think I'm a good, I'm good. I'm not going to go and design something and embarrass myself. But I think I definitely am much better photographer. I'm a good graphic designer where I'm not going to get booed off the stage. But, just like Lawrence, my passion, it's an obsession.
Right.
It's like her mom would ask me, well, you're not working today. What do you got your camera for? What are you bringing with you? And I'll be like, you don't get it. This is something that it makes me happy to capture images, because what you're doing, in a sense, is you're recording visual history.
Right.
So,
and
like,
you never know when it's gonna pop up.
Yeah,
so.
like I go to family events, and I go and bring my camera because, like, I see a lot of people taking pictures, and I mean, I'm not trying to be elitist or nothing, but they got some really whack-looking pictures. So I'm like, let me record something good to make everybody happy. And they say, like, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they got some good stuff to look at.
Right.
And remember, wow, I remember that moment, and it's captured, and it looks good.
Yes.
That's the whole point. You want to capture it, and you want it to look good. You want to be proud, and you want to make people happy, at least. That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm teaching my daughter.
Which goes into my next question, fatherhood. And fatherhood and mentoring, because the first time I met her at my last show, she was like helping you snap pictures and everything and helping you get everything together. And how important is that? Because that's something also that my guests and I talk about, which I'm sure you heard, with that legacy, leaving that impression on your family, especially your children. Yeah,
I mean, like, see, she's got the artistic bug, like me and like my son. And I just want whatever I can do to help cultivate that. Even if she doesn't make a living out of it. If you have a gift, use it.
Right.
Even if it's a hobby. And make it, use it and develop it as much as you can. Because you never know. Like, there's people that, they went to school and they got degrees and they're working in corporate America. They're working in the financial district. And then next thing you know, they also have a great talent for singing or something like that. And somebody hears them, sing, and next thing you know, they got a hit,
Right.
and that turns into multiple hits. Next thing you know, they have a career
Right.
in what their passion is.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Yep.
So, she sees me shooting, and she likes it. I bought her a little Canon T6i for Christmas. Yeah, and she's a little like she's baby Digital Jones. Like I'm Digital Jones and she's baby Digital Jones.
That's what it's about,
Yeah.
passing it on. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's important too when, as a parent, when you see a talent developing in your child, you nurture that.
Yeah.
And, continue to guide them and let them, experience life with their talent. That's what it's about.
Do what you love, and maybe you'll be able to live off of what you
Right,
love.
right.
Not all the time, but give it a shot. you
Right.
know? And then the thing is, if you're happy with what you're doing, that's a form of wealth.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's a form of
yes.
it. I know, sometimes what you love might not pay your bills, but it builds wealth in other areas, and it could possibly transfer over.
Yes, I totally agree. I think, oh my God, that is, that hit home for me. I truly agree with that, because when people have a passion to do something, you have the non-sayers that always say, oh, that's not going to happen. Or you have those that say, you can't make money off of that. But then I'm like, you don't know. It's not, just because that's not your path doesn't mean it won't happen for someone else who, it's their path or whatever. And
I say don't be a dream killer.
yeah.
I mean, not everybody is realistic about their dreams, but dreaming, it's important to do that because you never know. I mean, even if you don't get to live it, give it your best shot.
Yes.
Because at least when it's all said and done, you said I did my best.
Yes.
I got a cousin.
Very
His name
true.
is Xavier Council. He's a Navy guy. He was a very good, exceptional high school athlete. He's a sprinter. He's a 100-meter guy. I don't know if he runs the 200, but and he's basically got to the level where he was a world-class sprinter. Like, I mean, he's not going to be Usain Bolt or Carl Lewis back in the days, but he was fast enough to win the New York State Games.
Great.
Yeah, he won.
Good for him.
So, so he pursued that, and even though, he didn't go to the Olympics or he didn't make the NFL or, Major League Baseball, because he played like 3 sports. But he still, and even to this day, he still, they have something called the Masters category where older guys run, which leads into something else. Another, like his best friend, a guy named Wendell Dickinson. Now this guy, he's been to the Olympics twice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's an African American, right? But he was able to run for the Virgin Islands because one of his parents was from the Virgin Islands, and although that's American territory, he ran in the Olympics for the Virgin Islands. I think it's his father that's from the Virgin Islands. So he did it. I think it was if I'm not mistaken, in '88 and in '92. He didn't win, but he got to that level. So he's right now he's a professional. He's a speed specialist. He's a professional trainer. You know what I mean? And he's got pros coming to him. People that you see on TV, they train with him.
That's what it's about too. Like, again, that legacy, you're setting it in, and when you know that you're doing your job and you're doing it well, and then when you have other people coming to you for training, that's great.
I mean, his daughter, although she's not interested in track and field at this point, that little girl who's not so little anymore, she's a teenager now, but he had her running for a bit, and she lives in Jersey, but she ran for some event for kids in New York State, and she was the fastest of all of these kids. I mean, she's just like him, but she just doesn't have the interest.
Right.
So if she would follow his lead, she would be, you'd see her on TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So-
great. And his name again?
His name is Wendell Dickinson. It's Wendell, Wyndell. Wendell Dickinson. Wendell Douglas Dickinson.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's, if you could check him out on Instagram, I think at Speed Specialist. Look him up. He's no joke.
Wow.
Yeah,
Big salute to Wendell Dickinson. Big
Yep.
salute to you. That's big.
Yeah,
Wow.
See, I did something good for him, but me and him got jokes too. We got a lot of jokes, but we ain't gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
So I have a little question for my little friend over here. So she wants to be a photographer, right?
She says she is.
Oh,
She
I
is.
like that. I like that. Speaking into existence. Wow. So I'm sure you teach her that too, then, to speak into existence,
Yeah,
because
I
that's a
mean-
very important part
True.
in being successful. Speak what you want into existence. I
Yeah.
don't want to be a photographer. I am a photographer.
And you
I
gotta
like that.
believe.
Yes.
Because I fight with that myself sometimes. Doubt creeps in. Not that I'm
Yes.
not. I am. I'm living it. But
We
doubt
human.
always.
Yes.
And some people, it's like sometimes the way you're raised in an environment that causes you to be doubtful as you're an adult. Like, people, they don't realize they program their kids. So you got to watch how you program them with the words that
Yes.
you speak.
Yes.
And people, they only do what they know. But a
Yep.
lot of parents, they need to start learning before they even become parents, because you're setting a program for your kids by your words and by your examples. And, and even if your example is not that great, let your words be great.
Right.
And maybe that'll spark them to go, and they see somebody else is making it happen, and they follow the right path. Even if it's not you, put those good thoughts in their head. Don't let them doubt, especially black children.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Black and Hispanic children,
Yeah.
period. Because let's be honest, black man is behind the 8 ball in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like, I got to have a talk with my son. He's a grown man now, but I got to tell him, it's no joke out here.
Yeah.
And you have a bullseye on you.
Yes.
For somebody, for somebody,
Yes.
you are undesirable or a threat, or some people are just evil in the world.
Yes.
You got good people all over,
Yes.
but I'm saying it's rough out here for the
Yeah.
brothers.
Yes.
English and Spanish speaking, because look at this administration and
Yeah.
look. But the thing is, people are saying that. See, Trump, he didn't bring this with him. He just gave people permission.
Exactly. He
to
awakened
show
it.
them
Like
like-
it was. Can you say it was dormant?
No,
or-
it was there. It's just that everybody got to be politically correct.
Exactly.
But now, since he's like he's a guy you never thought would be president.
Oh.
So now people all feel empowered to say how they really feel. And I mean, I'm not. If you're a Trump supporter, I'm not gonna hold it against you. But why you gotta really look at why are you?
Right.
Because, like, I'm not saying he's all bad. No, did I give my vote? No, but I'm not here to slander him. But I'm saying, look what's going on, and look how he addresses what's going on.
Right.
He's not really in touch with the issues properly. Or if he is, he's in his own
Yeah.
world about it.
I think he look at it more of a reality TV based type thing.
Well, he is a reality TV guy, so
I get that, but it's like, don't you think, especially being or having a platform as big as that, where you not only represent yourself, but you represent a country, you have to turn that reality TV switch off and actually be a human being towards everybody?
See, the thing is, he's like the unpresident in a way. Like the uncola. He's the unpresident because he is president, but you will never see one like him again, because he's
We don't know that
totally,
now.
Well, I think the country will be in like basically a civil war before that happens, because everybody's on their guard.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard so many so many people saying go back to your country, and I'm like, what do you mean go back? I mean, I'm born and raised here. My father, he's a black man from the South. My mother's a black woman from Jamaica. So, but the immigrant thing, my mother's an immigrant. So when you talk about that, I'm like, what are you saying? Because everybody came from somewhere else, and some of us had no choice in the matter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Some of us had no choice. We're here because we were kidnapped and brought here against our will.
Yep.
So we are as native to this land as anybody else.
Yes.
And look at the people that were here that showed you the way. Look what you did to them. And then you take the land, then you give them a little reservation and talk about you doing something for them. Come on, man.
Yep.
See, the problem, in my humble opinion, which is based on research, people, they talk about issues, but they don't examine the history of the United States.
Exactly.
Exactly. And the history, you know what? I love,
exactly.
I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of the great things that the United States has done, but I'm not blind to its shortcomings, which there are a lot of them.
Right.
But, I'm not here to tear down, because I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But I'm just saying, let's understand what's going on here.
Exactly.
Because
I agree.
You can't have this ideology of, well, it's just hard. It's hard for everyone. Yes, but it ain't the same.
Yes.
It's like, like for instance, coming from an African American perspective, Dr. King was assassinated in '68, right? So let's just say since then. Let's just say that since that time till now, that's 50 years, right? So when people look at Black America, right? Remember, we have outstanding people, lots of them that don't get any recognition, and you have the celebrities and stuff like that. But remember, what group of people can you think of had 50 years to get together when the people that are calling us out had centuries?
Yeah.
Centuries. And we didn't get anything close to equality up until like the late 60s. And it's still not really equal, but it's a far cry from what it used to be. And you can make it happen.
I was just saying that last night when I was talking. Yes, I talk to myself because sometimes I just have to talk out.
Yeah, it's good to do that at times.
And that's just what I was saying, the exact same thing. As a parent, and for your daughter to see the things that's on, that's in media, because even if you try to hide it, it's like it's still gonna.
Well, like I don't know, maybe I got random thoughts right now. But, like for instance, she was born during the second part of the Bush administration, but the first president she remembers is Obama. I never thought that would happen. I didn't think I would live to see a black president. I did not. I mean, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she got to see it twice,
right?
2 terms. She lived up until the latter part of her second term, right? My mother got to see it. My father. I never thought that I'd see it. My father grew up in the Jim Crow South.
My family from the South.
Yeah,
yes.
He grew up in the Jim Crow South, and he told me about that law in the books called reckless eyeballing, which is something that basically Emmett Till's life was taken based on that kind of ideology, right?
Yes.
So our beginnings are not the same, and the problem is a lot of people want to sweep history under the rug.
You can't do that.
They don't want to recognize that the reason why things are the way they are is based on the history of the country. I'm not making excuses for knuckleheads. Like if you're a rotten egg, you're rotten. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care, what your background is. Rotten is rotten. But the thing is, the toxic stuff has been focused on, like they've set up a system where we are purposely hampered from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and the thing is, when people sit around, they don't believe that kind of stuff. You got to do your history, and then you got to accept the truth. It's not pretty, and some of it is glorious, but accept the ugly part too.
Yes,
and I'm saying for everybody, you know, like, you know, I'm just saying, like, that's the thing. People, the truth can make people feel ashamed, but don't feel ashamed. Feel empowered. Yep. Because then once you know the truth, you have the power to change your path and change the path of many by your example.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep. I totally agree. Oh my God. Yes, Dean. I totally agree.
Surprise, surprise.
I completely agree. I think people need to know history. And like you said, I think, for example, I have the pictures. I was gonna put them up this time, but I'll do it next show. People, for example, like Malcolm X and Huey P. Newton, where their legacy pretty much was not told properly, and it was pretty much erased from history.
See what they do. See, they deify certain people after they're dead. But when they're alive, they treat them like garbage. Or if they don't follow what they think they should do, like, for instance, Colin Kaepernick, for example. It was a veteran that gave him the idea of kneeling, a white veteran, right? He said, well, why don't you do this? It's not about, ain't protesting the flag. He's making a statement about the injustice towards people of color, especially African Americans and Hispanics, right?
Yes.
Well, so I'm saying, like, they're trying to sidetrack the issue. He's not disrespecting the flag. He's making a statement. So basically, let's go back to what's the name? The 50s, and I can't believe her name escapes me right now. She sparked the civil rights movement. Rosa Parks. Okay. Right?
I got
so see, she's on point. But my point is, so what would you do if you were around back then? You said, well, you shouldn't protest by doing that, not getting up and giving that seat to this white person. That's not how you're supposed to protest. You need to do something else. That's what they're telling him.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
That's what they're telling him.
Yep.
So you're going to make the guidelines of how people are supposed to protest. How much more of a peaceful protest could that be?
Exactly.
And it has nothing to do with disrespecting the American flag.
Yep.
But that's a good way of avoiding
Yes.
the root of
Yes.
the issue.
Yes.
Right?
Erica, could you put that picture of Colin up? He has on the football jersey. Mm-hmm. Oh. Yes. Hello.
I'm
Yes.
down with that brother 100%.
Yes.
Whether he plays
Yes.
another game in the NFL or
Yes.
not. You know, like he's taking the stand, just like my all-time hero, Muhammad Ali. Look what he did. He lost the belt.
Yes.
He risked going to jail. He was out of boxing for years, 3.5 years or something. They stripped him of his title. They threatened to throw him in jail. He lost everything standing up for the right cause.
I love Muhammad because whenever he spoke, it was like, wow. The way he put stuff in words of what was going on and the things that he's seen, I was like, wow. Like,
I mean,
that's
his conviction to what was right. See, that's what people got to look at. He was willing to give up everything. Everything. And then the thing is, the end of the story is he's the most loved person.
Yes.
He went from the most hated to the most loved because he did the right thing. He stood up for the right thing. You know, he wasn't a perfect man. I'm not a perfect man, but stand for the right thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And you can't be afraid.
You
cannot. Like with Colin, I was talking to my mom, and I forgot if we was having a conversation with someone else, and they was saying he should just go back to playing football, and I'm like, no. And I'm like, if he want to, fine. But I said, in my opinion, when you're doing something like that, I personally believe in God. Anyone could have their own higher power. But I believe when you're doing something like that, God will make a way for you to you know,
Yeah,
to
that-
survive,
you
because
will-
you're
it-
doing something positive.
Yeah,
You're doing
yeah.
something to empower the people. You're bringing awareness to a situation. And I personally feel we're all put on this earth to do something. And he decided to use his platform to speak or to protest about the things that's going on. And I commend him for
He,
that.
he spoke on it.
Yes.
He made a silent protest, because kneeling, that's silent. He's not yelling. But
Exactly.
he's letting you know we don't accept what's going on here. Something must be done about it. And then these NFL owners talking about, well, we will suspend anybody or fine them. Or I think that they said, we'll fine you if you do that. Now they're trying to renegotiate that whole thing and kill that idea. So basically, it's a modern day
Yes.
version of them
Yes.
saying, you know, I mean, I'm going to just say N-word, even though I don't say N-word. I say one or the other. But I'm going to be clean right now. So they say N-word because I'm being nice about it right now. Stay in your place. That's what they're saying. Stay in your place.
Yes.
This is what you do and this is what you don't do.
Exactly.
Don't ruffle the feathers, because you know you can get handled.
Yes.
But, you know, you got to be brave. You know, you can't be a chicken heart. I
Right.
don't care what your background is. You gotta stand up for the right thing.
You do.
You do
You do.
because too many people are scared.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You just gotta do the right thing. I mean, it's hard. Like, nobody does the right thing all the time, but make it dominant in your life.
Right.
You know, that's how you set
I agree.
examples. You gotta,
And that's what, honestly, people like him inspired me, because to talk about, for example, I had a show not too long ago with someone.
He's pretty much been blacklisted.
Oh,
just so you
yeah.
know. Even if you want to go back and play.
Yeah,
But,
and I think that's absolutely crazy. And I always say, especially for him, like I said, when that time comes, he's going to be blessed 100 times over, because he's standing up for something. And I just believe when you risking something as big as a multi-million-dollar contract or, anything like that, you will be... He'll
it's
be
gonna
okay.
work out for
He
him.
will be okay.
He's putting out there good energy,
Yes.
and it's going to come back, because
Yes.
it's a righteous cause.
It is.
You know?
It is.
That's why I always tell my daughter, keep it righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tell my son the same thing.
Yep.
And
have
that
to.
is hard to do, because the more righteous you strive to be, the harder the tests are.
Yes.
And they'll come through people, places, and things. Those people could be your mother, wife, brother, cousin, best friend, whatever.
Yep.
But you gotta, stay on the path.
Yes, you do.
You know.
You do. You
Yep.
have to. And it's important that we support those that actually take a stand like Colin.
Yeah.
It's very
I mean,
important.
just gotta do. I mean, you know who I like? I like Jane Elliott. Because she's an older white woman that will call you out
Yeah.
on your BS.
Yes.
Because, look at, all right, a lot of white folks don't like her. And put it this way, if you got a righteous mindset, you can't help but like her. White, black, whatever, right? But people don't like Tim Wise. I like Tim Wise, I mean, and there's, and I could go
I
through
saw
a
some of
whole
his
list
stuff. Yeah.
of people, of brothers out there, ancestors talking the truth. And, one thing I hate to see when we're at odds with each other, like, for instance, guys that I get information from that I admire, nobody's perfect, but, they pretty much have dogged Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yeah.
They have dogged him. Like, you know what? I'm not saying that every last statement he makes I agree with, but I got the utmost respect for him, because he's standing strong on his cause. Even if, even if some of it might be extreme to some, and to some people it's fine, but I mean, they blacklisted the guy.
Yeah.
And he's, I give him credit. The man is a warrior. He's a truth warrior. As far as he knows, in the path that he's walking, he's standing for truth. And it's like I said, there are some of his views that will rattle some in the black community, not
Right.
just the white community,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, but
I've heard
that's
some of them, and I'm like, huh?
that's
But I'm
beside.
like, okay.
But besides, that's besides the bigger picture that he's trying to tell you is you got to empower yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm not. You know what? I don't have to agree with everything he says, but I ain't going to knock him. And I hate to see when, some of the well-known brothers in the conscious community got beef with each other.
Yeah.
So like I like Dr. Boyce Watkins. He's
I like
another
him
one.
too. Yeah.
He talks about it. He's that's a serious dude right there. And Claude Anderson. I mean, and you know what? I'ma say it. I like Brother Polite. I don't care. I like Brother Polite. I don't care what anybody says. I don't knock the brother's game because he's trying to do something good for his family, and he tried to do something good for people too. Whether he's a sinner or a saint, I like Brother Polite. I don't care.
Yeah, no one
period.
in this world is perfect. There's no one in this world
I'm not
is perfect.
so I'm not gonna throw stones living in a glass house. So but at least they're out there trying to do something, and there's other people too. But the list can be very long. But
and it's hard to get a whole bunch of people together because you don't want to leave no one out.
So, like I say, like for instance, if I had a big company, one of the guidelines I would have is you don't have to like that person on a personal level, but on a professional level, respect them for the job that they do. You ain't got to hang out. I would make a rule on the job. Let's all stay away from that gossip. Let's get the job done.
Yep.
Because I'll give everybody a fair shot. Somebody new on the job, or people will be, oh, yo, look out for so-and-so.
I was going through that recently at a business where it's like it's good people on the job, but then you have people telling you don't talk to this person, don't talk to that person. But then when you do speak to them, you find out they the most realest, most nicest people you could meet. And I'm like, so the confrontation wasn't with the team, it was more of you.
I mean, like I remember when I was in college, I went to New York Institute of Technology, the Manhattan campus on 61st Street. I remember, I was there, and I was like, I went to college twice. First time around, I went to Baruch College on 23rd Street, but I didn't complete it.
Baruch, yes.
Yeah, because I was not the ideal guy to be a business major. So after 2.5 years, I withdrew. Next thing you know, I'm married with a child at 23 years old, and so. But then second time around, I went to NYIT, and at that time, I was older than most of you guys. Like I'm like 31, 32 years old at the time, and everybody else is like between 19 and 21. So I was like the older guy, but I have a youthful exuberance about me, and I tend to look a little younger than I am. So, they didn't realize I was that much older than them. And plus, I have a lot of the same interests, and I'm a kid at heart. So, I remember, there's this young white dude, my man, Mike Gambino.
Why that name sound familiar? I know a Gambino.
Oh, that's a famous last name. But we were talking about stuff, and we ended up talking about issues dealing with race and stuff, right? And I got a lot of respect for the guy because he was talking about stuff, but he was saying, and sometimes it's hard because when you're a white dude and you just speak the truth around your own folks, you get blacklisted by your own people.
Yeah.
If you stand up for it, because sometimes you gotta be really brave. You got to be like, because you'll be hated really bad. I'd be like, well, what are you doing? That's not your problem. That's their problem.
Exactly.
But see, the problem with, the United States and the world in general, it's like they say, we're all Americans, so that problems in Black America should be a concern for all the other Americans too. And just like in the Asian American community, if we're supposed to all be Americans.
Yeah.
Right? When you see 12-year-old young brother getting shot by the cops for having a toy gun, Tamir Rice, right?
Yeah.
See, come on. I mean,
Yep.
See, everybody's into their own clannish stuff, and you know, like for Black America, yeah, we got to get our foundation right.
Yes.
What I'm saying, like, when people say, oh, well, we're all Americans, and look, you care about my issues too, and I care about yours, but we got to deal with the truth.
Yes.
And if you deal with the truth, there's pain involved.
Yes.
Right? And if it does not favor you, doesn't mean it's not the truth.
Exactly.
And it makes you a much stronger person if you could deal with truth that doesn't favor you and still carry on with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the real test
And
comes.
speaking of that, another young man who had a serious impact on the world. Erica, you could put up the picture of Trayvon with the hood. Yes. Another young man who had an impact on the world.
Trayvon Martin.
Yes. Another young man I think about all the time too. The heartache and pain that his family felt, especially when you hear a verdict say not guilty. His mom, his family.
I mean, you know, the thing is, you know, it's like, come on, man. I don't, to be honest, whatever the conflict of interest was, it isn't worth you shooting the young man over it. Period. You know, because it's like you're on the hunt for young, not even just
I always
young
say that
blood.
too. When something happened, I'm like, it's hunting season.
Look,
And I hate to say that.
it
but
is hunting season
yeah.
because people feel, you know, like they're empowered by this commander in chief, which he is, even though like I'm not
Law
an
and
advocate.
order. Law and order.
You know, like, but the thing is, he brushes everything with a broad stroke. You know, like, come on, man. Like, you know, with all due respect, man, that is not how you handle these
Exactly.
intricate, detailed problems. You know what I mean? Like, look at my African American over there. You know what? Come on. That's an insult.
Yes.
And the guy that's like
Yes.
being called out, if you feel comfortable with that, you got to check yourself. 'Cause
Yes.
there's something wrong.
Yep.
You know?
I totally agree. Totally agree.
You know? Come
And
on.
I want to bring up one more person. Erica, you could put up the picture of Kevin Livingston. Yes. This gentleman has an organization called 100 Suits, and what he do is he gives out suits to kids in the inner city, and he helps them prepare for jobs. He also extended that for women also, and I definitely wanted to acknowledge him because I appreciate people who do stuff like that.
I do too, and
Yes.
I don't know the man, but I'm proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yes.
very proud because, you know, I mean, obviously the man has a very good heart.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and people like Colin Kaepernick and Snoop Dogg actually donated their suits to him to donate to the young men who he mentors. He was also on the Steve Harvey show. So I just want to give a big congratulations and a big shout out to Kevin Livingston, who's out there making a change to help people. So
I got enough respect for him.
yes,
Definitely.
definitely. Yeah. Oh
But,
man.
you know,
Mhm.
you just gotta, I mean, you gotta start off small.
Yeah.
You fix your backyard, and then once
Mm-hmm.
you fix yours, you can help somebody else fix theirs. Or you can be in the process, you can be fixing yours and help somebody else fix theirs at the same time.
Yes.
But, you know, you gotta care enough to do it.
Yes.
And then you gotta put in the sweat equity.
Yes.
You know, it ain't
It's
gonna
a
happen
lot.
overnight, but it can happen if you're committed.
It's a lot that go along with it. It's really not easy because when you're doing something positive to help people, you have even more of people coming at you that don't support what you do, and you have to be headstrong and you have to be passionate about it. So I definitely commend anyone that goes out there and make a difference to help people.
Wow.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
You know, just, you know, people, you have to kind of cut the selfishness out.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give more. Like I tell my son, I said, you know, if you're not a giving person by nature, then what you do is you give till it hurts, and then you give a little more.
Right.
Because if you're not naturally
yeah.
into giving, then maybe if you give till it hurts and give a little more, then you'll actually be making a dent
I agree.
into, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then if you keep doing that, it might become a habit, and then it might become a second nature if you do it long enough and consistently.
Yes,
You know?
I agree.
But,
That's why I love doing my radio show, because it's, for me, this is my way of giving back and to allow people like yourself. And when my show first started, Lawrence was here, and you know, my guests and everything, the things that they do, from being psychiatrists to being radio hosts to being fitness trainers to being philanthropists and things like that. I love doing what I do to bring those people to the forefront, because we're here, and I want to bring them to the, you know, I want to give them that opportunity to talk about their business and what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's I'm very honored that you caught me on the whim.
Yeah, that was
It's
my
very
plan
funny.
too.
No, wasn't at all, because I'm a camera shy kind of guy.
Yes.
You know, but I guess she's empowered me to talk. I can talk though. There's no doubt about it. But I'm shy at the root. But if I'm really committed to a cause, if I deeply believe, then I can, you know, really put down some info on it. You know, I mean,
Yep.
you know, it just gotta.
I had to pull you. I saw you standing. I said, "Oh
Yeah,
no, we
yeah.
gotta get him."
You just gotta care enough to be disappointed and still help out.
Yes.
You know, because you will be disappointed, but you know what? People are disappointed in you too. So look at it that way. You have disappointed people, so you know, be understanding enough to know that it's a process, but you got to be consistent about you know, putting in your time, you know, putting your 2 cents.
Yes, definitely.
You know. I mean, and not just in general, you know. And I mean, obviously, coming from the black community, you know, I know what's going on, you know. And the thing is, I'm connected to, you know, 2 communities, which are really they're the same community, but you know, with slight cultural differences. 'Cause her mom is Dominican,
Okay.
you know. So you know, and so I see the big picture, and you know, we just gotta be committed to getting it together, and don't worry about being disappointed, because all of the great leaders are disappointed. You're not going to reach everybody, but whoever you can
Exactly.
reach, just, you know, keep reaching.
Got to keep going.
You know?
Yep, I agree 100%. I agree.
You know, just keep going. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tough days, but you might go through 99 tough days, and that one day, it could be the 100th day, and that'd be the day that just is so big that it was worth the 99 disappointments in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
You know,
I know it? You know, 'cause
people
I'm
like
dealing with that.
Dr. King and his journey really empowers me to keep going, because when I think about all the things that he went through to make all the changes that, you know, we live off now, just me being able to do radio, like, you know, just marching and protesting. And when he was arrested and sent to the jail in Birmingham,
Right.
and I'm like, I would have gave up after that, but he did it, and he kept going. And I'm like, the things that I get mad about and complain about, I'm like, that's nothing compared to what he went through. So it's like, I have to count my blessings.
That's what I got. I make sure that I remember that, because I go through my ups and downs, but it could be worse.
Yeah.
But and I also I'm blessed to have a lot of good people around.
Yeah.
Me. Especially this one. You know?
I love her.
Yeah. Especially her. You know.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
well, you know, you just
Yep. Most definitely. Yeah.
let your conscience be your guide, unless you don't have a conscience. And then if you don't, be around people that are of very high conscience and you know, and high they have a high moral compass, and then it'll kind of balance you out if you keep that compass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh no. What? I agree 100%. Oh. Yes. And also, I wanted to highlight the people in the entertainment industry who I admire that make a lot of powerful moves. Can you put up the picture of Jay-Z? Thank you.
That's a sharp. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
Looking sharp right there. Definitely looking
Jay-Z
sharp.
is definitely one person that inspires me because he came from the bottom and made his way up to the top, being a drug dealer out of Brooklyn. And watching his life go to where it is now, I'm like, anything is possible. You just got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because that also goes back to what you said. Also, you have to want something really, really bad, and you have to just go after it.
Yeah, you can you can get discouraged, but you can't give up.
Yep.
Because you could be 3 feet away from gold.
Mm-hmm.
You could be, and you give up 3 feet short.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I tell that to myself every day.
Yep. Yep. Because if
Some
he
days
would
I
have
wanna give up, but I
gave
can't.
up, he wouldn't be who he is now. And he didn't give up. And he took his experience from the streets and made Rockefeller Records, and he went on to Tidal and Rock Nation, and got married to Beyonce, and have three beautiful kids, and still on tour, selling out and bringing in high revenue. So big shout out to Jay-Z. Very big shout out to Jay-Z, and congrats to you on everything. And one day I'm gonna meet you, and you're gonna give me all the insight, knowledge that you have on running a business and everything else that you know. I'm telling you.
I'm sure that's
So
gonna
big
happen.
shout out to Jay-Z.
Yep.
And what I also love about him is his music. I think, especially with a lot of his music, people at times really never understood some of his lyrical content to his songs, and you have to go back and listen to it at least a couple of times, because it wasn't just a simple rhyme. He told stories, and he tried to paint the picture of what he went through in a different way than everyone else did. So I like people that make you listen and give you a visual at the same time. So congrats to Jay again.
Definitely. Even my brother, he rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still going out. He puts his time in. Been doing it for a long time, and he's still on the dream track. And things are happening. His name is he's known as Sean Khan, and that's SEAN, Khan, CONN. And he's blazing a path for himself.
Yes,
definitely.
great.
Yeah.
Great, you have to, because it's oh man, I think so much too, like the industry have changed, and if you could bring something new to the table,
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Drake. I don't care what people say about him. That guy is a hit maker.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how he comes. I mean, it's the dude born in Toronto, right? His father's from Memphis, Tennessee, African American. His mother's a Canadian Jew.
Yeah. When
I first heard Drake, I didn't even know. I mean, the Canadian accent is very similar to the American basic accent. With there's some slight differences, but it's very close, right? But when he rhymes, he sounds like he's from down south.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was Canadian. I said, how unique is that? A guy from Toronto that rhymes with a southern accent, rhyming dirty south in the beginning. That is about the slickest entry into hip hop that I've heard in a long time.
Yes.
That is very slick.
Yes.
I got to give it to him.
Big shout out to Drake. Man. Yes. Hit after hit. Like, some of the songs, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, my favorite song of Drake is what is it called? Loving the Crew or something with The Weeknd.
Yeah.
That is what put me on to Drake. And then after that, I started getting into him even more because he's another one that, tell a story. And sometimes you're not going to catch it in the beginning, so you have to listen to it again.
Right.
So I like Drake for that. I'm more of a lyrical person when it comes to hip hop. I like lyrics. That's why also I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan and J. Cole fan.
When you talk about lyrics, then you go back to one of the masters of lyrics, which is my all-time favorite rapper, Rakim.
Oh yes, I saw him in concert too. Yes,
I mean LL Cool J
yes,
is one of my favorites too, because we're both from St. Albans, Queens, and we went to Andrew Jackson High School just like me, even though it was a short stay. But Rakim, he's always been my favorite rapper. And then they got other dudes like, KRS-One.
I love KRS-One. I saw
rap,
him. Yes.
And I mean, then they got others like I like Redman.
Yeah.
I like Eminem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them, but I'm saying Rakim was always my favorite.
Yes.
I mean, just the lyrics to Follow the Leader.
Yep.
The lyrics to a lot of his stuff, period. But he's like a freaking scientist.
Yes.
Dropping it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Oh yeah, I saw him in concert. Was it once or twice? I think it was once. I seen him in concert, and that was recently at the Yo MT Raps 30th anniversary concert.
Oh man, something's funny? Yo MTV Raps with Ed Lover.
Yeah, he talked about being.
Yeah, that's funny because like I said to you in private, I said when I went to Andrew Jackson High School, Ed Lover was a security guard.
He said that too. Yep.
That was funny. I seen him break up fights and stuff.
And that
almost a fight.
When he said that, I was like, wow, we all start from somewhere. We just don't know where we, are going. And for him to start out as a security guard and then to get into MTV, that's an incredible journey. So big shout out to Ed Lover also. I used to listen to him all the time when he was on Hot 97.
Yeah, he's funny. He's always, his show was very funny. I was always MTV Raps. That was legendary.
Yes.
I mean, even that movie, Who's the Man?
Yes. They showed clips from that.
That was ill. That was something else.
It was cool to be there because I was able to step back into the 90s again and the 80s and grow up again. It was fun.
Late 80s, early to 90s hip hop. That was like classic.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
But
most definitely.
I mean, but if you're from St. Albans, Queens, you're gonna always mention LL because he designed a certain kind of hip hop.
Yeah.
Like he was the first solo star. You know what I mean?
And I think he brought something different to it. Like he was more talking about women and everything.
He's the king of the love song rap.
Exactly.
Nobody could touch him in that category.
Yep.
Plus, he's back in the days, he was a good battle MC too.
Yeah.
And he used to battle with Kumo D, who I liked a lot also.
He was there too. That was so much fun.
And I like Kumo D a lot also, so I was kind of twisted in that battle because I like both of them,
Yeah. Yep. And also I could say Curtis Blow is another favorite one of mine. He came out on stage and he was doing cartwheels and splits, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be hard for you to get up in the morning.
Right.
So, but it was fun. It was definitely fun. And another one I had. Can you put up the picture of Nas?
Oh, Nas is the man. He's the man.
Yes.
Hi,
Nas.
I mean, he's one of my favorites. Mobb Deep is one of my favorites too.
Yes. Big shout out to Prodigy.
I mean, listen, we know the story of the beginning of hip hop, but you can't front Queens gets the money.
Yes.
Because big names came out of Queens. And we don't even have to go down the list because it's heavy. Okay? And it's still heavy. But,
yeah. Big shout out to Nas for always putting out albums with a whole lot of knowledge in there. My favorite Nas song still to this day is If I Ruled the World.
Yeah, that was a good. I mean, he had some lines. I mean, one of them might seem sacrilegious, but he said, when I was 12, I went to jail. You know what I mean? That was an ill line. Come on. That was a killer line.
And also, it ain't hard to tell.
Oh, man. And you know what? When I was younger,
Mhm.
I don't think I'm old yet, but I'm getting there. But there's a dude from Jersey. He only had like one song that was kind of big. This dude named Lakim Shabazz.
Mhm.
That he had a song called Black is Back. That dude was a lyrical monster. Even if it was only that one song that stood out in my head, Lakim Shabazz, that dude was nice. Then they had other people, but Redman,
Jersey.
He's a killer.
Hey, Redman.
He's a
Yeah.
killer.
Him and Method Man, I still love both.
Tretch
of
is
them.
nice too. I ain't gonna front. Tretch is nice.
Naughty. Yes.
Tretch is nice.
Yes. Yep.
But I'm just saying, like
Queen,
it's
Latifah, all of them.
I mean, but she's Queen
Yeah.
Latifah. She's her own
MC
enterprise.
Light. Yes.
You know?
Yep.
Oh, MC Light was.
Georgie Porgy.
Well, we can't front on Brooklyn. Big Daddy Kane, Biggie Smalls. I mean.
Yes.
Brooklyn is we will never front on Brooklyn. I mean, I'm a Queens guy. I was born in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, but I came to St. Albans at 5.5 years old. So I do represent Queens, but I was born in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and I remember it vividly.
Oh. Yes, it's a lot. And
this is my little Manhattan baby right here. Yeah. Roosevelt Hospital.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody was born in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Mama's
Yeah, she and
Manhattan.
the whole family.
Yes. Yep. So, yes. So, also, once again, congrats to Nas on everything, because he's still doing big things, too. And when he come out with albums, he still drop a whole lot of knowledge in there. And, One Mic, that was one of my favorite.
Definitely.
So, congrats to Nas on everything that he's doing. And then we have another one, Puff.
He's the guy is he's a genius.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yep.
What else can I say?
Yes. Yes. He
Period.
brought us a lot of flavor in your ear. Biggie Smalls, Faith Evans, and
that's a
Total.
good picture right there.
Yes.
It's a really good shot.
Yes. And he's a music mogul, a business mogul, a TV mogul, everything. So big shout out to Puff and all the things that he do. Do he still have Daddy's House?
Got me.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
even know.
Okay.
But he's a global.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And he do a lot for the community also, on camera and off. So big shout out to Puff. A lot of people try to bash him with things, but I'm like, you got to give him a whole lot of credit, because he took hip hop to another
Absolutely.
era also.
I mean, I'm not gonna see the way things are. You're not gonna hear me go out of my way to go bash your brother. I ain't doing it. I mean, unless you're an ultimate scumbag, I'm not going to do it, because we already got enough people doing it.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to participate in that. If I got a problem or a disagreement, we'll keep that off the air. You know what I mean? But I got nothing but respect for these guys.
Yes.
They are power players, highly influential.
Yes.
And they do a lot of good.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And I mean, basically, like, whether it's, designed like this or not, hip hop artists and athletes, and certain singers and stuff, they're almost like superheroes to the youth of our community, like LeBron James. He's one of my favorite, not just as one of the greatest basketball players ever, but the fact that he does so much for his community, putting all these kids through school.
Yep. And still remain focused.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for that.
And not being an Uncle Tom. I cannot deal with that Uncle Tom.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you don't have to be, out there like a warrior protesting, but just don't do any shoe shuffling, Tom.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Exactly. Yep. So big shout out to Puff and the whole entire Bad Boy, entire Bad Boy, the past Bad Boy and present. So definitely. I remember not too long ago, I think it was earlier this year, or last year where he had the Bad Boy reunion tour, and I
Yeah.
wanted to go so bad, but I couldn't make it.
I would have liked to see Lil Kim perform.
Yes. Big shout out to Little Kim.
Yeah.
Yep. I was looking at one of her old videos on Instagram earlier this week.
It's hard to beat her swag.
Crush on You.
Got
she still got it.
I
She,
mean,
and
that's
it's
the
never
thing.
going away.
She got crazy swag. Period. Period.
Yep. So big shout out to all of them, and also big shout out to Faith Evans and Stevie J. They got
Yeah,
married.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Well,
Wish them
congrats.
The best of
Yes.
happiness and all of that good stuff.
Yep. So congrats to Stevie J and Miss Faith Evans, the beautiful songstress Faith Evans, who's also from Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So big shout out to her.
Serious songbird.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I want to go to sports now, Erica. Can we put up a picture of LeBron James? Yes.
Yeah, he's
So
the man.
big shout out to LeBron and all that he do for his family and
Yeah,
himself.
that's it. Now that I would love to. If I wish I was a photographer that took that photo. You know, that would be great because that's a guy that I admire him, not just as an athlete but as a person. You know?
Yep.
You know, I think he's a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Good man.
And he married his high school sweetheart, Miss Savannah
That's excellent.
James, and his children. So congrats to all of them on their success, because not only is it his success, but it's his family's success also.
Absolutely.
And to be able to, I don't know much about LeBron, but he had a rough childhood life
Yeah, he
also,
did.
right?
Yeah.
And
but
for him to get into basketball, to give his kids something bigger, that's a beautiful thing.
he used that as his fuel.
Yep. So congrats to Mr. LeBron James, and he also was traded recently to the Lakers, right?
Well, he was a free agent. So he was looking to make a change. You know, he could have stayed in Cleveland, or he had many options. He's like the most. I mean, regardless of what anybody says, in my opinion, LeBron James basically is the MVP every year
Right.
in the NBA, because there's no team that needs this guy. He's the most valuable player on his team, period. And when he goes to LA, he's going to be MVP on that team too, whether they give it to him straight up or not.
Right.
He's done stuff for basketball I've never seen any player carry a team the way this guy does. And I'm not dissing his teammates. I'm just saying this guy puts people on his back like I've never seen before. And you know, I don't care if he never gets 6 championships like Jordan. I give the man his respect. You know, Jordan was a monster, but so is LeBron.
Yes.
You know, he's a different kind of monster, but he's a monster in a good way.
Good. Keep doing your thing, LeBron. You know, we celebrate you and all your accomplishments, and all the pictures that I put up of men of color who, you know, have wonderful things going for them, where they started from humble beginnings to where they are now, and, you know, being able to give back to the community and to instill a legacy in their children to, you know, always be proactive in what you want to do. Don't wait for no one to hand you stuff. Go out
Yeah.
there and do whatever it is you want to do.
And if you gotta find a circle of people to keep you motivated, go find them. But sometimes you need that. Sometimes
Yeah.
you don't have enough on your own to just be charged enough to do it. You gotta be around people that
Exactly.
can lift you up, keep you focused.
Yep.
you know?
Agree. And we also have, can you put up the picture of Kobe Bryant? He's at the microphone.
The Black Mamba.
Yes.
That dude was the man. He's the closest thing I've seen to Michael Jordan. The way he plays, that dude was an assassin.
So big shout out to Kobe. You know, they tried to take him down a few times in the media, but he still rose to the top, and he continued to do
And
everything that he wanted to do. So
what he's the first NBA player. What did he win? He won an award for his, what was it? Did he I don't want to make a big mistake, but I think he got a what is that? An Academy Award for a film that he produced or something like that. Something an award. I think that's what it was, but nobody else has ever done that in the NBA. He retires from the NBA. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a minute. But yeah, this guy, he was one of my favorite players, and you know, even though he's retired, he still is.
Yep.
I mean, you know, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, those are probably my three favorite, and the great Dr. J.
Yes, Dr. J.
And,
yes.
and I like Larry Bird a lot too. Period. Those and Magic, no doubt. You know, I mean, I go back, so there's a lot of guys I like, but those dudes right there, those are my. I don't know if I named 5 of them or not, but those guys are the top of the list as far as my favorites.
Well, congrats to Kobe on everything, and he's just chilling right now. I know his wife was pregnant. Did she have the baby yet? I don't really know, but congrats to yeah, she did. Congrats to his wife, and congrats to Kobe, and continue to be great, which you will, because you already created your legacy. So
and they can't
continue.
Touch it, no matter what.
They can't.
The man scored 81 points.
I remember
in the game
that one,
and didn't even complete the fourth quarter.
Yes, I remember
90,
that. Yep, I remember that.
Yep.
So big shout out to Kobe Bryant, and we have one more, Allen Iverson.
The baddest 6-foot dude I ever seen.
Big shout out to Allen Iverson. Yes. I remember he was during my time of growing up with the Sixers, and just I don't even know what to say about AI. AI is just he a monster on the court, just like Kobe and LeBron, all of them. So I appreciate, that was when I used to watch basketball.
Well, the 2 most impressive little men that I can remember. My man here and Isaiah Thomas.
Yes. You know who else was good? I also liked, but I don't know who he played for now. Jamal Crawford. He used to play for the Knicks.
He's good, man. He's been around. He's really good.
And
he's really good.
When he used to shoot them 3-pointers and everything. Yeah.
He's still bad right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So big shout out to them. Hello. Hi, Sean. Yep.
How you doing, brother? How you doing? All right.
Dean, Sean. That's my mentor.
Please.
So yeah. So big shout out to Allen Iverson. I remember he went through his big thing in the media also, but still he overcame, and he's still Allen Iverson. So, and he also have the big 3. I don't know if they still have. Did it pass already? But I know it was something with Ice Cube.
Yeah, Ice Cube. It's a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the season is over, but it's great basketball. With,
right.
Guys that have recently retired, and they still got game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Really exciting to watch. Definitely.
So big shout out to Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Congrats to all of them. So, yeah, I greatly. Oh yes. Also, there's Will Smith.
Absolutely, I got to meet him once.
Yes.
Nice man.
Yes.
Very nice man.
Yes, I love Will. He do his thing on the screen, and I also grew up listening to his music. Parents just don't understand, and what's my favorite one? Summertime. Whenever I hear that song, I'm like, oh my God, that's my jam right there.
I like his very positive attitude.
Yes.
He's a very motivational type of guy.
Yes. Yes.
I got so much respect for him.
Yes. Yes. Big shout out to Will Smith. I think my favorite movie of his is Independence Day.
I have a lot of favorites. And I like
I Am Legend.
Yo, that was great.
Yes.
And I like when he played Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yes.
That was
Yes.
excellent, too.
That's another one.
I mean, he's done a lot of great work. There's so many movies you can name.
Men in Black.
You can keep going down
Box
the list.
office hits. What's the one he did with the love match when he was a love matcher?
Yeah, I forgot the name. Then he had that
Hitch.
other one,
Yes.
Concussion.
What's that? I
That's
never
when
heard
he
that
played. He played a doctor that would examine these NFL players because a lot of them suffer from damage to the brain from because football is a high impact sport.
Right.
So he played this doctor. I forgot what African nation the doctor was from. I don't know if it was Nigeria or something like that. And he was up for an award for that too. But it was an excellent movie based on a real guy that brought this. I forgot the name of it. Protocol to the NFL about the damage that players receive from the high impact collision when they put the helmets down.
Right.
And, what is it? I forgot the name of the symptom that the players end up having, and it pretty much damages them for the rest of their lives.
Oh.
It's a form of brain damage, but there's a specific name for it which escapes me at the moment.
I'm ashamed to say, I don't think I ever heard of that movie. That's one I haven't heard of from Will. Oh, I'm ashamed. And I'm a Will Smith fan. I'm sorry, Will. But congrats to you on everything, that you do. You have a whole lot of a string of movies that I love. Another one, I don't have a picture of him, but Denzel Washington.
That's
my favorite,
that's the
Malcolm
litmus
X.
test right there.
Yes.
I mean, he's got a lot of super great movies, but just Malcolm X has always got to be one of my favorites.
Yes.
Yep.
Malcolm X is definitely one of my favorites.
Yep.
What about you, Sean? Your favorite Denzel Washington movie?
The new Equalizer.
Yeah?
Yeah, that joint was crazy.
I gotta check
The
that.
last
Yeah.
one, he was just smacking people up, shutting up, telling them like, yo, he was giving them like little bits and pieces of who he was, and that criminals was doing crazy stuff. So why don't you just put that back and be nice about it? Criminal look at him and be like, who are you? Who the hell? Excuse my language. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And they would just look at him like, you think you big shot? You think you? And then he would put them in check and then make them beg for life. Some of them, if they didn't beg, he would just pop them and keep it moving.
I gotta check it.
That's
the first
what,
one was rough.
The first one, the second one is
Oh
off the chain.
man,
I can't. It's coming out
Excuse me.
July 27th.
I gotta see it.
I'm in the theater that night.
Oh, I hear that. But I also like the Hurricane. That was another one of
yeah,
my.
Reuben the Hurricane Carter.
Yep.
He was from my hometown, Patterson.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yes.
I mean, he's got a lot of them.
Yeah, Denzel, he's definitely a dope one.
Yep.
Still to this day. And what was the one, American Gangster?
Oh
that
man,
one,
that was a monster too.
Yep. So whatever he touched is gold.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Even movies when they come out with him in it, and I'm like, I don't know. But still, you always hear great reviews about him and the roles that he plays.
And
so.
that movie he was in, Fences, that was a good movie.
Oh, yes.
That was really
okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
black excellence right there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I had the pictures during the last show, but we was so caught up with my guests, I didn't get to show them. So today, I was like, I'm gonna show the pictures of black men of excellence, in my opinion, and I appreciate what they do and what they bring to the table through their talent, their business, everything. And I just wish them nothing but the best with everything that they're doing. And also, I want to give a big shout out to my uncle. His birthday is today.
Happy birthday.
Yes, to my Uncle Jimmy. Happy
Wow,
birthday.
that's my father's name.
Yeah, Jimmy.
That is my father's name. Jimmy Jones.
Yes. Big shout out to my uncle. He's up here from North Carolina. He came to
Wow.
visit.
I feel half my family's from North
Yeah.
Carolina.
North and
Joneses,
South.
Yep.
Oh, I got Jones in my family.
You do?
Yes.
Well, my Joneses, we start in Wilson, North Carolina. That's where the Jones family is from. Every 2 years we have a reunion, so next year we'll be having another one.
Yes.
Yep.
How are you supposed to get there?
Yep.
We drive.
Ooh, them days over
I-95.
for me. I can't.
Well, I mean, we took Amtrak last time.
Okay.
but I like to drive, actually, so, you know.
We're just gotta bring a lot of snacks because I get hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a nice long drive. Amtrak was cool though, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But
I
will
can't.
be there. Shout out to the Jones family.
Yes, the Jones family. Yes.
Shout out to the memory of my Uncle Wall,
Shout out to
Howard
Silver.
Jones, the legend in the town of Wilson, North Carolina. May he
Yes.
rest in peace. The governor of the state came to his funeral.
Really?
That's right, Howard Jones.
Nice. May he rest.
He's the guy that I looked up to, and I wanted to be a family man the way he was.
You didn't give a shout out to Silver.
Shout out to my cat Silver.
Oh, I got 2 cats too. Hi, Sasha. Hi, Midnight.
Silver. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, them little cats.
And shout out to my
Messing up
uncle
my rugs.
Freddie Cole and my cousin Tracy Cole.
Yes.
Yeah, Freddie Cole performed in New York recently. He's Nat King Cole's brother.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed the performance, but I could have been there. But he's married into the Joneses. Yep. Because
Okay.
my aunt Margaret was his wife, and you know he comes to the family reunion every year. Yeah, and I could have been there. He's hanging out with. I mean, he's a big people in the music industry, especially jazz and stuff, they know Freddie Cole because he sounds like his brother. You know, Uncle Freddie used to come to my house, watch fights, hang out with my father. When I was a kid, I used, he told me I take too many pictures, and he's right.
I love taking pictures, and I love, like you said earlier, their pictures are memories. Like they was captured for that moment of memories, and when you look back at it, you're like, oh, I remember during this time when I took this picture and things like that. So I love pictures. I love taking pictures.
And that's why you should hire a good photographer to take them for you. Have a good family photographer. You know, like me, I'm the Jones family photographer, along with my own, business. Digital Jones Productions.
Yes, I was getting ready to say that. When did you start your business?
Well, I mean, I've been a freelance photographer for like over 20 years now, right? But Digital Jones Productions, I've had many different names for it, but my most recent rebranding of it, I don't know, maybe it's 2005. That's when I started using Digital Jones as my, business name.
Different names?
Yeah, I used to have another. And so.
Is that where people could find you?
Yeah, www.digitaljones.net. Check me out.
I'm on.
Okay.
Yes, I saw the picture.
Yeah, and this is Sierra Jones, aka Baby Digital Jones.
That's what it's
known
about,
as
passing
the
it down.
Pink Mamba.
I love pink. You love pink?
This is the Pink
See
Mamba
my pink
right
nails?
here.
I love my pink.
I don't have any pink on me.
But she's the Pink Mamba for a different reason. She likes pink, but she got this little person here. Don't let her fool you. She got the killer instinct like Kobe. That's why she's the Pink Mamba. Even though she's a little dynamo.
Oh, nice.
Good,
Go ahead, girl.
A good student. She's a good athlete. She's a little mighty mouse. And I'm so proud of her.
I'm
Great.
competitive too.
That's a good thing. Yes.
And she's got confidence like Muhammad Ali.
That's
That
great.
kind of confidence.
Don't let no one take that away from you either.
Yep.
That's going to get you very far. Go ahead.
That's
Yay.
Shout out to
Yes.
female baby black excellence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You gotta
That's
shape
right.
and mold them into
African American excellence, Afro Latino
Mm-hmm.
excellence.
yes.
There you go. And
to both of you.
Jamaican excellence too.
Yes.
That's right. Shout out
Congrats
to my
to
mother,
both of
my
you.
grandmother, all
Mhm.
of, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congrats to both of you. And thank you very much for
Oh,
talking
my
with me
pleasure.
today and going through the slides with me.
It was an honor.
Yes, I
And
greatly appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I actually got comfortable because I'm a shy guy, but I know how to play it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
That's how I was when I first came into
Yep.
radio, and he was like, "You got to come out of that." So
Well, I mean, what I spoke on is stuff that means that's dear to my heart. So
Mhm.
that's why it's easy to talk about
Mhm.
things, such as what
Yep.
we talked about.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it was a pleasure and an honor, and I
Yes.
hope I did some good.
Yes, you did.
Well,
You did.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
had some fans over here who said hello, and I read one of the messages when we get off the air because somebody left me a message for you.
Oh, excellent.
So,
Well, thank
yes.
you,
Mhm.
whoever that is. I appreciate that.
So I will
And,
definitely send it to you.
I
Yep.
appreciate it.
See
So,
your fans.
I'm
wave
gonna
to
close
them.
my show out with him because
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
no, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank you. My little friend over here. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, no
All right,
problem.
Okay.
No problem. So, my next guest, my mentor, who I'm going to beat up after the show.
I'm walking like an old man today, man.
How are you,
tired.
Sean?
I'm burnt out. I'm gonna tell you. I got old man syndrome right now. 52 is definitely kicking in.
Oh, stop it.
Please, I did a business shoot this morning, from 10 to 12, maybe to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Ran over. Then I had the last model class I had to get done. So I had shout out to Jeannie Ferguson for coming up and doing the last class for me.
Hi, Jenny Ferguson. Big
And,
shout out.
Yeah, Jeannie, and she did that last class for me, and then I had to go from there, drop her off, and then
Mm-hmm.
I look at the time. I said, "Oh, Monique's gonna kill me."
Yes.
So I hurried up and come here. I didn't eat all day. My head is lightheaded. I feel like an old man for real. Look,
You always supposed to eat before you start your day.
yeah, I'm telling you, sometimes when you're going, you go, but you don't realize you old until you get the light headaches, and you be like, oh shit, I gotta eat for something happened to me. You know what I'm saying? You be like, wait a minute, this is a dire need, like, you know. So, I was just like, let me just go here. I'll eat in between or on the way. I'll walk around the corner, get me a sandwich, and come back. Hey, sometimes you just doing so much, man. That
Yeah, that's very true.
When old folk syndrome set in, it ain't
Hi,
like,
Kim. Yes, this is Sean.
yeah, I'm tired as you know what, Kim. Yes. But when you beat, man. And when I around my life, I dealt with a lot of older people in my life that have mentored me,
Mm-hmm.
in my Masonic lodge and everything. And when they tell you, oh, they've done this, this, and now they're at a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and you be looking like, oh, that ain't nothing, because you young, you're like, yeah, okay, you had a slightly hard day,
Mm-hmm.
And they be like 80-some years old, and they be up, saying things in the meeting, and participating. And when you look, you don't actually know about their day, but when you go through it and you get like 50-something years old, and then you gotta do like 2-3 things before the day is out, and then you look at your calendar day on the end of the day and say, I'm just getting started because then I gotta go to
Yeah.
Brooklyn for this showcase tonight, and I'm saying to myself like, I'm fucking crazy.
Watch your mouth.
I'm just crazy, man. So it's after a while you just be like, when do you get to sit and kick back and throw your feet up, and it just never happens until everything is just completely done,
Yeah.
man.
That's what it's
It
about.
is
That's
just-
the lifestyle
oh.
that I want, to be running around from
What?
place to place. It is.
Man, be careful
Without
what you
corporate
ask
America
for.
in my life, of course. But
See, you young now. See, you want that. See, let me tell you something. I was young and I wanted it too. 8 years ago. Now I just want one thing at a time. One day at a time.
that's what I want though. But I want to do things that I enjoy. Like what you're doing, that's what I want. Go from meeting to meeting, and when I walk in the room, I'm sitting down, get ready to fill out, contracts or go over contracts. That's the kind of stuff I want pertaining to my future. So, I definitely.
All I know is be careful what you ask for. Because when you get the blessings and they start coming in, you can't say, "Oh, I don't want to do this."
No, I'm
Don't
not.
put that in the atmosphere because
I ain't gonna-
somebody's listening. So my thing is, just say everything in its time and every time in its place. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Kim said,
Yes.
"You
Kim.
will sleep when you are dead. You gotta make these donuts."
Is that
Kim Love Jones.
tell Kim I'm going to choke her from the
You
bottom
heard that, right, Kim?
from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to choke you to death.
She said, "God is in you."
Something is in me
God
right
is
now.
Good. I'm sorry.
Something. Yeah. God is good. That's the only thing that keep me moving.
Thank you, Kim. I'm ready to do all of that now. Like I really am, and I know my show is gonna get me there. So I look forward to everything. Yes. So before you came,
Oh, that hurt.
before you came, Dean and I was talking about black excellence, particularly with men, and
Ooh.
yes. Erica, can you put up the picture again of some of the people starting with Jay-Z? We talked to. Oh, you did? Okay, never mind. Okay.
This is excellence. Is it black excellence?
Yes, Black Men of Excellence.
Really?
So yes, that's the month, the theme for my show.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's
So
nice.
one of the people I had up was of Jay-Z.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I put him in that category is because of where he started to where he is now.
Okay.
So, what are your comments on Jay-Z, if you have any? Because I think he's like an extraordinary artist, and I admire where he was and where he is now. And you're in the industry, so
She just had to say that,
Yes,
right?
uh-huh.
Anyway, what I think about Jay-Z is just that when you look at where he came from and his background, in Brooklyn, projects, Brick City, and you look at who he is as a mogul,
Ding, you could get that.
right? Who he is as a mogul now. People look at hip hop artists and swear up and down they'd never make it or they'll never cross over, and they categorize them as hip hop
Right.
artists. They're nobodies. That's what they look at them in this industry. Oh, they're just he's a nobody. He's gonna spend all his money in 1 year. He's gonna buy cars, jewelry. This is how their peers talk about them.
Right.
And Jay-Z kind of set the bar straight. There was a few artists that set the bar straight. You look at Jay-Z, you look at P. Diddy, you look at what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot his name.
Master P.
Master P. You look at
He's another one that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Big shout
set-
out to Master P. How
they
dare I
set
not put
Will
his picture?
Smith.
Yeah.
These are artists like L. Cool J. These are artists that set the bar kind of straight because people thought they were just going in one way and just going to be that one way forever. And even God, even my man DMX, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
with all the hate that he got.
I still love DMX.
Yeah, I love DMX. D does
Big
his
shout
own
out
thing.
to DMX.
D's naturally talented. My thing is, he was on an all-time high with everything that he was doing in the industry, and it just came to a crashing halt based on some stupidity that that came with the industry. But at the same time, it was a lot of things that he ran into, and my thing is a lot of hate going on, a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. So, my thing is that people thought these individuals were just going to be rap artists.
Right.
I mean, look at Jay-Z. For example, he came from hip hop to where he had his own clothing line
Yeah.
to where he went from the clothing line to actually almost buying an NFL team. And then actually...
Oh yeah, and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to buy the NFL team, and then at the same time, he actually bought the what's the name in Brooklyn? The Dome? I forgot.
Oh, the Barkley.
Yeah, he actually bought or partnered up or bought Barclays Center. So now, when you go into Barclays Center, you see a store dedicated to Jay-Z.
In the 40.
Yeah, and it's dedicated to Jay-Z. It has all his material, everything. Boom, 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 and
in his hometown. And
right.
Yes.
And when he did that, his investment was the 40/40 Club. There's a 40/40 Club in Manhattan, in Atlanta.
Yep.
He basically, and the only thing that Jay-Z has not done as of this day is act.
Yes.
That's it. He hasn't did any acting gigs, commercials.
Yep.
Yeah, Jay-Z's just not. He's a hip hop artist, mogul, CEO, president.
Yes.
And an owner. Okay.
And that's the key word, owner.
Yeah, he owns
Owner.
everything.
Owner.
Owns all of his stuff.
Yes.
And the same with P Diddy, the same with
You have a picture
L
of-
Cool
yep,
J.
yep.
Now Diddy is the reason why I talk about Diddy because he's from my hometown, Mount Vernon.
Yonkers. Oh,
And-
Mount Vernon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Mount Vernon. And the thing is, when Diddy came into the game, he was running around, getting, Cokes and Pepsis for the people at the industry, at the label. And he worked his way up and says, look, I want to run my own label.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, I want to run my own label, this, and this. So, in the long term, people thought Diddy was just going to be the average guy in college
Nah.
who's interning for, whatever label. But Diddy turned around and said, yo, I'm going to get my own artist,
Yep.
start my own label, call
Yep.
it Bad Boy,
Yep.
and we going to make a ton of money. And he did it. And people didn't know. He was trying to take the artist and put him on such and such way. And
Yep.
the artists, certain people who he was dealing with in the industry is like, nah, we're not looking at him right now. Yeah, come back next year. So after a while, he just created Bad Boy
Yep.
and did his own thing and signed his own artist. And the next thing, he's got Sean John clothing. He's got the cologne. Ciroc. Diddy's doing his thing. And now
Yes.
people look at him as Sean Puff Combs.
Yes.
Other than Diddy, the Bad Boy guy.
Yes.
So people think when you do hip hop was just, that's all they want. No. People branch
open
out of
up.
hip hop.
It's so exactly. That's the point of it all, is to grow. And then, when you have people knocking him, I'm like, man, Puff, go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, cause what is it? He even what Jay-Z didn't do, like you said, is act. Yeah.
Right.
But he
Yet.
didn't he?
Yeah, Diddy was actually, he did a scene in either a movie or he was on a sitcom or whatever. Or he had his own reality show. That was one.
Yeah.
And then
Making the band.
Yeah. So I mean, he's done some things as far as like really big time acting, like Hollywood stuff. He really hasn't done anything
Yeah.
like that.
Do he need to?
I don't know. I mean, Diddy's
he's
his own.
sitting on everything right
Yeah,
now.
Diddy's his own mogul. It's just like 50 Cent. Like when they thought 50 Cent came in as a hardcore hip hop artist. Next thing you know, 50's doing movies.
Yeah.
50's a CEO of Vital Water.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing landmark stuff.
Yep.
And he's another black entrepreneur that people honestly thought was just going to be another old hip hop artist who comes in, spends all his money on car, houses, and chicks and hanging out and just, going to be broken the next year.
No. That depends on how you want your life set up. If you want longevity, you'll branch off into different things.
Right.
Yep. Like
So-
the other one, Nas, Erica. I'm sorry, Nas. It's okay. This guy.
Yeah,
Like,
Nas. I don't know too much about what Nas is doing, but I just know that people respect Nas as a premier hip hop artist in the industry. You know, if Nas signs okay on it, is gonna make it.
Right.
Um,
I know he got a restaurant. I think is out in Cali called something Chicks.
oh really?
Yeah.
Nah, I
Yeah.
don't know anything. Oh well, we can use Jadakiss and
I love Jadakiss.
in the
Hi,
the,
Jadakiss.
yeah, D
Mhm.
Block for instance. They have the juice bar.
Yes, with the
Up in
morning, with the
Yonkers.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
right?
they have it in
Yeah.
Yonkers and they have it in I think it's in the Bronx somewhere.
Mhm.
And they personally
Yes.
work at the juice bar.
Yeah.
So when people come in there, you know, they don't expect to see Kiss behind them. You know, join
I
how you
would love
doing?
to
Come
see
on
that.
in. They do that every
I would
once in a
love to
while.
see Kiss doing that.
Him and Styles, and they go in there and
Mm-hmm.
they actually work in there. They walk around and ask people. You know, they're getting comments back. You know, asking them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
how's the juice taste? You know, how's this that? How do you like the business?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're getting feedback 1-to-1 on exactly how the business is.
I have to. I
And-
want to go because I want to see them. I
Yeah.
want to see that. Definitely. Big
Hey.
shout out to the locks.
Yeah, you go right up to Yonkers at the juice bar up there. That sometimes Styles is in there, sometimes Kiss is in there.
Oh.
And you know, it's like nobody thought Rough Riders was going to be a major logo or major movement, and Rough
They
Riders,
are.
Rough Riders ended up being a good biker club
Yeah.
across the United States.
Big
now.
shout out to DNY. Yes.
Yeah, Rough Riders
And
everywhere.
Siobhan. Yes.
Yeah, Rough Riders everywhere now. So, shout out to DMX. Shout out to everybody, man,
Yeah.
in the camp, the Rough Rider camp, because you know DMX, he was a movement, man.
Yeah.
You know, shout
I
out
think
to
he
him and his
still is.
family.
People just
Yeah.
like brushed him off, but I think he is still so talented. And you know, I hope he come back out with a new album. I would love to hear some more music from DMX.
Yeah, I think he's coming back out. I
Mm-hmm.
know they just got finished doing a while ago the what is it? Back to the what was it? The Empire Strikes Back tour.
Mhm.
It was really crazy, man. It was seeing all of them together on one stage.
I would love that.
Drag, DMX, it
Where
was
is-
everybody.
How is Drag on?
Drag just dropped a new joint. That was in February. I would say new because I didn't hear about it till maybe a week ago.
Mhm.
And it was a joint, not disrespecting, but just putting people out there with this plug stuff.
Mhm.
And I don't know where he was going with it, but you know, it was typical Dragon. Dragon is like he's a hip hop artist that brings you the truth when it
Yeah.
comes to what he's talking about. He's not gonna
I
cut
think
the
that
mustard.
was like pretty much everybody in Rough Riders though.
Yeah,
Like all
yeah.
their albums all had something to do with a whole lot of truth to everything real.
Yeah.
And I miss that. That's what I miss about hip hop.
Really?
Like Dean was talking about Rakim. Like Rakim is just
Yeah, peace to the God. yo.
yes. Hi
Um,
Rakim, I love you. I saw you in concert. I listen to your music still. Like
You need to
you
get
one
him
of
to
the
come to the
greatest.
studio.
Huh? No, it's just when it comes to my rappers from back in the day, I try to acknowledge all of them because I think
Yeah.
they paved the way for so much, and the things they talked about and still talk about for those who have album outs now, like I appreciate them. So,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I love
You
hip hop.
see me closing my eyes over here.
Whatever.
No, but you know, don't be laughing at it. It's old man syndrome, my guy. I keep telling you.
Whatever.
Anyway, but yeah. So, what's the difference between the classic artists of hip hop and the new artists of hip hop? Is the new artists of hip hop, the younger artists are jumping into hip hop with their style of hip hop,
Hmm.
and
I respect it.
the style is different. People love it. It sells.
Go back to my
It sells,
stuff.
but people like hip hop with a message,
yeah.
and that's what it was all about. Hip hop used to
Yeah.
be a message. If you came from the bricks, you rapped about the bricks.
Yeah.
If you came from good living, you know, you rapped about
Exactly.
good living,
Yep.
and that's the way it used to be. But you know, people started coming up with different concepts of hip hop, and
Hey, Katia.
and they were getting way out of touch with what reality was setting in with for me.
Yeah.
You know, people talking about popping mollies and and smoking
That's the
this
new
and
stuff
smoking that,
now.
and you take this drug,
Yep.
you spray this, and and then you use this other drug. I mean, now you get a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is only certain things can be brought to the table when it comes across the airways, because a lot of stuff can be played and a lot of stuff cannot be played.
Yeah.
That's what artists have to realize, is that when you release something to a network, the network looks at it and says, if it's not radio edit ready, we're not playing it. And that means no cursing.
Right,
that
right.
means, editing your material before you send the network a finished product. So a lot of these young artists are learning that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the old artists paved the way. They should be reaching out to them, because, a lot of times they
Who
can
should
cut
be
the
reaching
mustard.
out to who?
The young artists should be reaching out to
yeah.
the old artists to get a little bit of knowledge of what they can do and what they can't do.
But I think now, especially with a lot of the hip hop artists that's out now, I gotta start to wrap up too. A lot of the artists that's out now, they want to be different. They really don't want to hear the advice from our previous pioneers of hip hop.
Well, people don't want to give people what they do, man.
Mm-hmm.
When Poor Righteous Teachers was throwing it on, on the airwaves, that we Poor Righteous Teachers, we've been taught by this and this. They had the whole conscious rap.
Mm-hmm.
When that came out, people didn't know what to think. They said, well, wait, hip hop is turning around. It's becoming educated.
Yep.
People were really scared about it. You had the X Clan. You had PE, Public Enemy. They
Still
didn't know
love
how to
it.
take those artists. They
Yep.
thought they were just too or they're trying to be educated. Oh, we have to watch them. They may be, they may draw up public riots. So they were feared
Yep.
by society.
yeah.
They were really feared.
Yep. See, I wish you would have got here sooner, Sean.
Yeah.
This would have been a good conversation between me, you, and Dean. But I gotta wrap up now because your show coming up, Hot
Yeah.
914.
Exactly.
So make sure you stay tuned for his show. But thank you to all that joined. I greatly appreciate it. Dean, thank you very much for being a part of the show. And everyone have a great weekend. Bye.